February 14th, 2023 to order. Can I have a roll call, please, V?
Here.
Yeah, here.
Here. Here. The first order of business is the acceptance of the minutes from January 24th, 2023. Have a motion, please. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a motion to accept, please.
I make a motion? Go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, public hearing, appeal number 23778, an area variance of Julius Morton, seeking an area variance section 24037 of district regulation in an R20 zoning district, where 50 feet of rear yard property line is required. The applicant can provide 48 feet for construction of an 8x10 deck with stairs, thus requesting a variance of 2 feet. Where 20 feet on the side yard, left property line is required, the applicant can provide 12.52 feet for construction of an 8x10 deck with stairs on 0.33 acres, thus requesting a variance of 7.48 feet. The property is located at 12 Fox Hill Road and is identified as tax grid number 6257-01-403820 in the town of Wappinger. Is anyone here for the Julius Morton?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Good evening.
So can you just tell us what you need for? Oh, we have to open the public hearing. I have to open the public hearing. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Secondly.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can you just briefly tell us what you need, sir?
Yes, so to allow for the construction of two 8x10 decks, I am requesting a variance, two variances, one on my side property where I would requesting a variance of 7.48 feet, and then the second variance will be for 2 feet, requesting a variance of 2 feet from the rear property line.
We went out Saturday to see the property. I believe all four of us were there, right?
Yes.
And I understand the property behind you is county property?
Yes,
That'll never be built on, right? That is,
that's my understanding, yes, yes.
okay.
The existing porch, did that have an existing variance?
I'm sorry,
Hey,
which
the
one?
existing porch that was there, did that have a variance?
No, it did not.
Okay.
It did.
No,
It didn't?
I believe so. This one,
You talk about the side
which one are you
porch?
talking about?
The whole,
The whole porch that's there is greater than the footprint.
Mr. Morton believed that it had a
They
variance.
did have, yeah, they did have a deck that was, there
It
was
seemed
a
like they would have had the
variance in
side yard
'04.
at
The one
least.
to the side yard,
Yeah,
that one did have a variance in '04.
okay.
Any other questions?
No, I don't think we saw that, and actually is making smaller deck than what we right now.
Yeah, the side yard variance would be less than what it was, and,
Right.
you know, the back, it's really the steps we're talking about
That's correct.
being greater.
So I don't think I have any further questions.
Nothing further?
No, I don't have any.
and I think you said that the side yard was gonna actually be decreased by,
The footprint will be smaller, correct?
smaller, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is in line with the house.
Yeah.
It doesn't extend past the house to the left side.
Yes.
Anyone in the public have any questions? Want to step up, say anything? No? Okay. I have a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, can I have a motion to either grant or deny the applicant his variance?
Does it have to be two,
These are both, they're both mine, put them together. if you
Yeah,
like.
so one is okay.
I'll make a motion to grant the variance. The benefit can be achieved through no other means. It is not an undesirable change. The porch is actually smaller than what's there now. The request is not substantial. There is no adverse physical or environmental effect, and it is a self-created issue.
Have a second, please.
I'll second.
Roll call, please, B?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, your variance has been granted, sir.
Thank you very much.
I believe you'll get paper.
So this week, Bee will do what she needs to do, then I'll approve it, and it will go to the building department. So it's already, tomorrow's Wednesday. You'll probably hear from them early part of next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, appeal number 23779, an area variance, Karen Garowal, seeking an area variance, section 24037 of district regulation in an R80 zoning district, where 40 feet, the side yard, left property line is required. The applicant can provide 2.1 feet for the legalization of a garage and bathroom on 1.40 acres, thus requesting a variance of 37.9 feet. The property is located at 12 Schlichter Road and is identified as tax grid number 6156-02-986957 in the town of Wappingers. Is there someone here on behalf of Karen Garowal? Can I have a motion to open the public?
I'll make a motion to open public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
How are you tonight?
Good.
Good to see you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nathaniel Gooden. I'm with Cedar Engineering, a professional engineer representing Mr. Garowal, the owner of the property at 12 Schlitzer Road.
So we went out to the property on Saturday. Did you get a chance to talk to the gentleman that was there?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, so you know what we were looking for? We had talked about at
Yes.
the last meeting that we were gonna adjourn this out for a few weeks anyway,
Yep.
so the full board could be here.
Yep. So I don't know if you guys had any comments. I did talk with the gentleman that was there, Sal, who met with all of you and kind of guided you guys while you were there. I do understand that you guys had some questions with the property boundary of the neighbor, so I want to be here to address those concerns. I want to kind of hear it straight from you guys so I can properly answer those questions.
I think the question was with this sketch.
Okay.
So you had put on this that the garage wall is 1.1 feet from the property line, and that the gutter and soffit overhang by 1 foot, which implies in my mind, that the gutter is 2.1 feet from the wall, correct, at the front corner?
So this is the survey, the wall, so that may be something to correct, but I want to be clear, the survey is the truth, and that is, the wall is 0.9 feet away from the property line at this end, and 1.1 feet away at this end.
Okay, so it's the 0.9 that we were really worried about.
Yes, yes.
And it's only over by, it looks like 6 inches, is that accurate?
The gutter and soffit is over by 0.6 feet over the property line.
0.6 feet, okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because we were, so, yeah, this seems like it's not accurate anymore.
Yeah, it's showing the 1.1, and we can update it. It's actually 0.9, so I think that's just another annotation that we should add. Thank you for
Okay.
pointing that out.
So that actually makes, I think, more sense, potentially, the 0.9.
Yeah, and then I think the other question, Dave, is that you were talking about the 2.1 feet that was,
Total.
Yeah, so it sounds like that dimension's wrong, based upon what he just had up with the survey.
Yeah, where did you get 2.1 feet? Is that from the
Just
drawing?
adding the numbers on this.
Okay.
I think it's written down someplace, too.
So 2.1 feet, yes. So that right there, I'm going to highlight these just so your awareness. So 2.1 feet is where we were looking to,
From the backside.
from the backside, to draw everything back 2.1 feet in line with the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah, because, this said it hung over the property line by 1 foot, which it sounds like it does not, correct?
Yeah, so this is actually, right here is 0.9 feet. That's the furthest extent of where the edge of the garage is. And we're gonna we were saying to move everything back 2.1 feet, but we don't actually want to do that. We want to move just the gutter and soffit back 0.9 feet.
Okay, so if you do a flush condition at the gutter and soffit, So everything's at 0.9 feet?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's the ideal situation for us. 2.1 feet is something he could play around with, but that still is a lot of work, honestly. That's shaving off a wall.
The confusion was because we could not see line and there is a wood wall, so that's create more confusion, right?
Yes, so the neighbor's wood wall is on his property from the survey.
I'm sorry, the wood is on his property?
Yes, so if you see here, this says failing wood wall.
Yes.
The property line is this thick line right here.
Okay, yeah.
And then the failing wood wall is over on his property.
It's on Garen Wall's property.
No, on the neighbor's property.
It is.
Yes, if you see on this survey
Neighbor's
that I'm showing right
property,
here.
okay, neighbor's property, right.
Yes. It's such a tight distance that the overhang of
I know,
Karen's,
that's why I wish that was really blown up picture so we can see more clear. This was, the thickness of the line
oh, gotcha.
makes it more confusing even, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were going off the written
Gotcha,
text
yes.
because,
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
it's small. It's, yeah.
Yes.
You guys should have a copy of the paper survey too. It's in the submission packet, the last page. This has this. What you're holding right there is actually it, yes. And that has the same doodle that I'm showing you right here. Doodle, I should say drawing, but
Right. Yeah, well,
Didn't help much.
no, I didn't have to much on that. Yeah, that's fine. So Barbara, if they're asking for 2.1 feet, but they actually want 0.9 feet, that's a greater variance than the 2.1.
Yes, it's huge.
yes,
Do
and
they have to republish that?
Hold on a minute. So we publish it as 2.1 feet. So if you were making it smaller, it's one thing, but if you're going bigger,
Yeah,
yeah,
but-
it should be republished.
To do the 0.9, we'd have to go bigger.
You'd have to republish. Right? 'Cause it's practically on the line.
we came with the 2.1 feet as a middle ground that he would be willing to do, worst case scenario. But ideally, yes, we would want the 0.9 feet, and we're willing to go through with the necessary steps for
So
that.
0.9 feet would be exactly just taking the soffit out
Yeah,
and
so
moving it flat against that brick wall, that concrete wall that's there?
basically, I'm gonna mark up right here. Handwriting's not that well, but just that, all removed, and line flush with this wall. So it'd be a basically zero clearance soffit situation.
Is it engineeringly possible?
It is, and the thing is, so ideally, the water would drip down and we'd have basically gravel there for where the water would drip. Ideally, it would be great to have a gutter, right?
You could do it.
But that would be 7.6 feet. Now we're getting, closer and closer. That would be great too, by the way, if you guys are willing to entertain that.
Don't count. Don't count the overhead.
Okay.
Go under the-
So I
Oh,
mean,
wait,
we
hold
can't
on.
approve the 0.9
You know
without
what I'm saying? We're
we just
okay
can't
with
approve 0.9 without it being republished because it's a greater variance,
Okay.
Well, one of the
right?
questions,
Is that accurate?
Barbara just raised an issue which we have to look at as to whether or not
We can't till we're up to 3 feet without counting it.
we may certain, let's see, definitions, right?
The reason I'm looking for, if you were so inclined to grant this large variance, putting a gutter back on may not make a difference
May not.
Like, it'll be just, you put it on, but it's not part of the, I mean, it's part of the structure, but the building itself would be .9.
Yeah.
The gutter, would, we allow things to overhang to a point, that's what we're just looking up.
Yeah, so you put back on a 4 inch or 6 inch gutter.
4 inch.
It doesn't matter, that's not,
Mhm.
just here. I got it.
And the gutter's not over.
It will be more, but not significant impact.
Yeah, if we could clarify that the gutter is currently over, but it would be great to have the gutter on at that point too, so.
Well, I think Barbara's looking to see, you know, if we give you the 2.1, you potentially could still add the gutter
You
back
mean the
on.
point nine?
Because we measure from the building, from
Well,
the structure.
yeah, if we give you the .9, you could
Yeah.
add the gutter.
Not the gutter.
Okay.
So when we measure on an as-built, we're measuring to the building, to the actual structure, whereas a gutter is not something we would measure to. And that's what we're just verifying. I know it's in there, I just don't know where.
Do we still need a line snapped that we can visually?
I think so.
You
I
do?
think so.
Under
Well,
overhang?
I'm not sure.
Cantilever.
I can see really straight line, later line.
I mean, I'm personally know that it shows more. Either we allow them to keep that wall,
Yeah.
or we have them take the wall down. I mean, it's if we think the burden of taking that wall down is to gain, you know, a foot,
Yeah, it's
you know, it's a minuscule amount.
It's in 240, which I'll tell you.
You're talking about the left wall in the garage, right?
Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
that's coming on that jog, right?
I mean, I feel like Shalish does that we
Yeah,
should
have
see
it
a
marked
line
and
actually
set
snapped
that.
and drawn, and then take our measurements from it, because what we're looking at on paper is not what we're seeing when we go out there, even though,
Well, I think they just measured from the wrong, you know, they measured from the, like, this is from the back of the building, not the
Right,
front.
right, exactly.
as an architect,
Was-
you would know that.
Well, I didn't know that looking at this.
No, but yeah.
But
look
I
like from
think he's
back,
clarified
It's
that.
like
Our,
that, so
our
soffit, one overhang,
most focus is the front.
we don't
The
measure
measurement
to
is from back.
up to
So
3
that's,
feet.
I think, my concern. Because the front is not very clear.
Look,
Back, I think
overhang,
I can see
look
it.
E.
They could have done a little better job of
Looking like it.
and we have never seen this close.
So, I mean, I guess in my mind, the difference
Okay.
between keeping that wall and taking that wall out is kind of a wash, you know, I think it's really,
Yeah, I mean,
you
if they
leave the
cut-
wall or you take the whole garage off, I think those are the two
Right.
options, right?
There's a provision at 240-21, which governs yards and setbacks. 240-21B2 says that architectural features such as window sills, door frames, chimneys, eave, or cantilevered roofs may project up to 3 feet into any required yard. So long as the projection is less than 3 feet, it's not,
So that doesn't really help here, they're on the property line.
well, not, but, so it's,
So they could take the eaves up
Eaves,
to the property line.
Right.
And they could project over the property line up to 3 feet, is that correct?
I don't think, you can't project over, but I
Oh,
think you can
sorry.
take it up to it.
Project up to the property line up to 3 feet.
So we line
so
up-
for purposes of the required yard, that, an overhang up to 3 feet doesn't count.
So having 9 inch space with
So that's
4
the
inch
wall. We're working on it.
gutter should not be a big issue,
How far is the wall from the property line?
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The wall's
Wall-
.9,
0.9
right,
feet.
for the
And
survey,
then 4
right?
inch.
.9?
The wall is 0.9.
Right?
Yes,
So it's the front corner of the wall.
yep.
Right.
And then from there on, we could shave definitely all this off.
Yes,
And that would be actually, I mean, even a better case, because then we're just shaving off
I think approval would have to be with the condition that you're pulling it back to, nothing's overhanging the property line.
Yes, absolutely. But with a 0.9 feet, 0.9 foot setback from the property line for this wall, and then having that projection, then we would take off that area right there.
But are you losing anything if he puts a gutter back on? You're back to square one,
Well, we
pretty
could, we could, if we go 0.9 feet as the property line, then we can go back a little bit more to add a gutter. That's something that we would agree to.
The gutter would have to be at the property line.
Yeah, at the
And it
property
gets
line.
better as you go back.
Yes, yes. Gutter at the property line.
Regardless, they have to republish,
Yes, definitely.
if you're even going to entertain this.
And we're gonna wait for the chair, right? We discussed that.
Right, so we accomplish both.
That's what we talked about at our last meeting, that we were gonna wait till we.
Do you want to wait until you have a full board, and then if you're still inclined, then he can republish? Just in case you don't have the votes for this? And then he's back to what he first
Yeah, we don't
published
want him
for.
to republish and see if they take the garage down in its entirety.
So have them come back in 2 weeks when Peter's here? Is that what-
Yeah.
So can I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing for 2 weeks, please?
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn for 2 weeks.
Second, please?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, so you know where we're at, and we know where you're at, so if you could come back in 2 weeks,
Okay.
and the chairman will be here, and then we can go further from
And
there.
still
okay?
at that point, we have to publish again, so it will be additional 2 weeks after that,
Okay.
right? Okay.
So just to clarify, is there anything else that you guys would like to see from us?
Do we wanna see a line or
I
no?
think you can go
I can go,
I'm fine
you
going
don't
with
think so, then
paperwork.
I'll be.
Yeah, looking at picture now, a little bit better understanding.
never found, and-
I don't know that it shows us more. I mean, again, I think it's between if we accept any portion of the garage where it is, or if it has to come down. I mean, it's,
That's what.
those are the two choices.
So, good so far? Nothing else?
I mean, I think we're in agreement that taking down the wall and moving it slightly is kind
Not
of a
very
pointless
feasible.
exercise.
Yeah, it didn't buy us more comfort.
Yeah.
Right.
So at the next meeting, I appreciate the time here, but we'll be able to discuss a 0.9 foot setback of the garage wall.
So in the next meeting, we could approve that if, potentially, or we could vote on that if you republish. Barbara, would we want him to republish before the next one?
No.
Well, it depends. If Pete would come and he's not in agreement and more than two of you
Would-
are not in agreement, then he's going to have to stay with the variance that was published. If you're sure this would pass, then it would have to be republished now.
Understand?
Yes, I do.
Right, right. So republishing is the right way to go. Do we have 100% agreement? We don't know yet, because Pete is not here. So basically, just wait for him, so we can discuss next time.
Okay,
Based on the discussion, we'll republish or we go with as is.
okay,
I think going as is, there is a lot of risk involved, so going other way would be more easier for.
Yes.
For your client.
We can
Yeah.
do whatever.
and it just brings more assurance to what the outcome will be next time.
Yes.
I do have the read of the room, but I understand, it's better to have everybody together. So, okay, so I think I have a good understanding. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay. A second. Next item is on for discussion. Appeal number 227770, an area variance. Joseph and Dina White, seeking an area variance of sections 24037, 24053, B4 of district regulations in an R40 zoning district, where an accessory apartment cannot exceed 35% or 1,000 square feet maximum. The applicant is proposing to add an accessory apartment addition of 1,427 square feet on 1.3 acres, thus requesting a variance of 427 square feet. The property is located at 63 Gold Road and is identified as tax grid number 6358-03-003388 in the town of Wappingers. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening. It's been a while.
You look familiar.
I know, right? We're here tonight for accessory apartment variance. We have an existing house located at 63 Gold Road. What I try to do on the map here is highlight the existing structure in green. And what the applicant is proposing is an accessory structure for himself and his wife. He is an avid New Yorker, doesn't want to leave, doesn't want to move to Florida, wants to die here. So he'd like to expand the house to allow that to happen. We've been working with the health department because we're adding an additional bedroom to the septic system. So we've gone out and done deep test pits with the health department, and similar to pretty much every application we seem to get now, there's really no good record of what's in the ground out there, so we've kind of recreated the wheel. So we're gonna be doing an improvement toward the back of the house. There's a pool in the backyard, so right past the pool is the existing septic. We're gonna add a line or two and do some improvements around the pool. And then, for expansion purposes, if it ever fails, there's an area in the front yard that we've done soil tests on that could support an expansion. The house is going, the addition's going to match the character of the existing house. We're going out about 25 feet toward the west. And I think we included a set of renderings for you guys to kind of take a look at. So we're doing some internal modifications with the house. We're moving a bedroom and adding a poker room and just reconfiguring space. So we provided an existing conditions plan and then a proposed plan, so you guys can have an idea of what the applicant is putting forward.
Normally what we want to do is come out and take a visit at the site. Is there any way we could get a marking, something, few squares, some either in line or anything to show us where the addition's gonna be?
We'll hang a couple flags on the extent of the building. That way you have a reference of where you're at.
Yes,
Yes.
And-
Good, gentlemen?
and property line.
Property line,
We can give you that.
just a quick marking. We will schedule this site visit for thanks, Pete. Site visit at, on 225 at 9 AM.
9 a.m.
As long as it's marked, we really don't need anyone there, but if someone's there, that's fine too, you know?
Okay.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday morning. Hey, do you have a copy of the plan blown up? Can you just outline for us, like, on the blown up plan, where the accessory apartment is?
I came prepared, although I don't have the fancy technology. Kick it old school.
Yes.
So is the entire two-story, or I guess one-story plus basement? Is that all apartment, or?
Right, so here's the existing house, the garage is here, there's a garage under,
Okay.
a little space on top, and then there's an addition. In the back, pool is located here, on the existing condition plan. So what we're proposing to do is take this bedroom, move it up to the front, this becomes a poker room, media room, for the family to hang out. And then the addition is going to be going right in line with the existing house.
That's the confused.
The existing house is a split level, right?
Correct. So if you can see here, I don't know if you can see the shading,
Mm-hmm.
but here it's having dashed or black and line here. That's the
This is
addition.
the front.
So if you're looking at it,
You see how it's only connected with that?
living room area, open the kitchen,
Front of the house is here.
bedroom will be located here, remember it was back here before.
Okay.
Moving it over.
It's over there, so
And then with the bedroom,
this is what the
walking back
front's
to the
gonna look
closet,
like.
laundry, separate room, upstairs is
This is
just
the side of the
a
house.
small little loft area to kind of keep the massing the same with what's existing out there.
Okay.
And then go back. So you can see how, this is like the garage under.
So the house has
You
garage,
walk upstairs.
family
this is
room,
the front door for the house.
guest room,
This is the existing.
that's
living
room for the
And then
bedroom,
again, this is their
and
expansion
you've
on the
got
side.
dining room,
With that small
kitchen,
little loft area.
living room.
And I'm only seeing one kitchen and a bar, it looks like. Is there a second kitchen?
And a bedroom here, so that's four. That's the kitchen.
That's the one in the apartment.
That's the room in the-
This is showing the basement, not the.
Oh, they're there.
This is where, this is showing the garage, and then it's
This is the room where they live next to it.
This house is the garage, and the house above this part.
So it's really not quite a house.
So I don't think he needs over the existing kitchen walls because they won't touch that space.
Okay.
Proposed space. We kind of did the overall existing and then shifted to focus on the proposed improvements.
In the main.
Okay.
Yeah, in the main house.
So
This is showing the basement.
No, there's no kitchen shown there.
they're showing everything else, but not kitchen.
So is the kitchen somewhere in this area someplace? Okay.
Everything in the front door, the living room, kitchen.
So somewhere in that family room, there's another kitchen? Okay.
So this is, take it.
P1.
No, so on this plan, in this family room space, there's a kitchen someplace.
Kitchen might be here.
Kitchen in here somewhere,
So this is
probably
going down.
here.
Yes, right.
How will you turn this back into a
This
one
corner
family at
and that
some
corner,
time?
right.
Because it's now two houses with a breezeway.
This-
That's not really the spirit of the code.
Here's P1.
You want
P1 showing the first one.
Yeah, if you go to P1, it's off to the side.
So P1, I see a bar area. Is that bar area actually the kitchen?
Right here, this is the kitchen area.
Okay, so that's here.
No, that's the new addition, right? New.
No, this is.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah, yeah.
This, if I'm looking at it, right, this would be
This
above
is-
the garage. This is above the garage. So this dining room, kitchen is above the garage, right?
Yes, yeah, well, this is that area.
Okay. Then because it's a split level, you come down, or you go up.
Right.
You go up to the bedrooms and bathrooms, or you go down to the family room area.
So that would be essentially here.
This is over here.
Right, okay, this is the.
On the P1 drawing, the front that I'm looking at, what is that, the side of the house that I'm looking at?
On P1,
Yeah. Right,
overall looking down, so this is the, this is basement level, this is down, this is the front of the house,
okay.
right? And this is second floor, part of the
Thank you.
So essentially it's two
Yeah,
houses.
so this, living room, this fits over here. Then you go down a couple of steps
And this
to
is
here.
above the garage. This isn't the addition we want to build.
I think when you guys come out and make a site visit, it'll be a little bit clearer,
Okay.
And then this
you know,
goes
just visually, it's
further down.
playing around with
to
split
the
level.
apartment, I think goes into the
plan it looks a little
family
different.
room. Yeah, this goes further than the top of the slopes.
So is the pool coming out?
Cool thing.
Would stay in the corner here. So there's
Yeah, it's right behind the,
so limited information.
it's right behind that rear addition. On the side.
We don't know that. Only one of them are doing
So this one,
So that drawing that you have there doesn't have, we don't have that
this is looks
coloration
like
right
completely
on our.
open area.
So where they
I
put
just
it
threw a
here?
little bit of color on
That
it.
area open.
Yeah, it's open.
Right.
It's a little,
Is that blue that I see?
Yeah, so, can I walk it up?
it's confusing, because, you know, this goes from existing basement
Yes.
to second floor.
So the green is existing.
Okay.
Intermediate.
That's what I was trying to be sure. So you have, that we have that drawing here.
Yes.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
okay.
that's reflective. So right now, this is how we exist, pool, septic, backyard drops off. So then we're gonna be doing the addition, we'll be doing the septic modification here. Then
Also to the side.
we're tight to the line, we're not over it.
Just here, you mean?
Right. Where are you gonna get into the house?
Looking at the house around to the
Thank you.
side. The right side.
Want to see this?
No, that makes sense.
Makes sense?
How come this wasn't joined to the house, that you just have it with what really is a breezeway of steps?
It's just the way,
Well, it's two separate houses now. Sorry.
she's gonna give me the call tomorrow.
What is the entrance here?
I know you could do better.
From here, there's no entrance.
And you will, right?
I will.
I know you will.
This house, for this side, entrance is this one.
Come here, and then you go up slightly to the kitchen, or down slightly to the family room, so you
Go from here, you go down and go to standard kitchen.
It is creative.
section, I feel like the section really shows. Yeah, the section here, essentially existing
But
house.
where is their door? Where is the front door on this?
I used all my dining room last night.
Is this the front? All right, where's their front door? And where are they gonna get in?
To the side.
Up the side, okay.
No two front doors.
No, I know you took that out. I did.
Did he put his name on the record? when we first started?
Here.
I don't remember. Who's the gentleman standing behind?
Yeah, there's a door down the garage, like the main.
That's going.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause this is on the basement level,
Right.
so this would be off to the right here. And this is this.
This is garage main entrance, so this is on some entry wall. What is this? So how car goes in?
So, if you don't mind, can I talk to the owner for a second? Behind you?
Underneath? Oh, door
Sir.
underneath.
Hi, my name is Joe,
Joe,
Joe White.
thank you,
It's a two-family.
sir. This is your house now, correct?
Correct. 32 years.
And the idea behind the apartment is for your mom and dad?
For me,
It's for you?
my wife and
No
I.
matter how you look at it.
Your mom and dad. You
My
are
wife and
mom
I.
and dad, yeah.
I'm the, yeah.
It's part of the one thing.
So you're giving it to one of you're the house?
We're giving that, we have already sold the house to our daughter and son-in-law.
Okay.
Their two kids and one on the way. You know, we don't really need all the space, so it just works out for us. Her sister bought 67 Gold Road. So, you know, it just works out for us.
What is the plan after you're not living there anymore? If you don't mind me asking.
I would think that they would, you know, unless my wife and I pass at the same time, you know, one of us would continue to stay there. But I would think that, that eventually they would sell the house, which would mean that it would have to revert back to a one-family house.
Correct.
Right.
And with that, like, little breezeway offset piece, it would be kind of tough to make it a one-family house, don't you think?
Look at,
I'm
It's
going
like
through
another
what my,
house.
Well,
my
there is a
idea.
staircase, there's a staircase that would lead up to the accessory apartment.
Right.
And, I mean, what can you do with the space? You can make a living room, extra living space, you know.
A giant master bedroom suite, where you never have to see anybody else.
My son-in-law does have a grand view.
Sounds good to me.
He's actually in England now
I
for
know,
work.
the wall, but what I'm saying.
He was supposed to come.
Would it be possible to see even like a very quick sketch of how it would become a one-family house?
Just a sketch for the file.
Whatever, I won't be
Yeah, for what it would be revert back to, basically. I think that would be useful to see in this case, because it is such a, usually these are much smaller when we approve them, and this is substantial and separated.
Yeah, the issue is that, we're trying to move 32 years, our house, into this place. And to get it into 1,000 square feet, we would be a little bit tight. That's why this design works for us with the loft and the attic space. Just to fit everything that we have. When you guys come that Saturday, you're welcome to come in, take pictures, look,
I think that's what we'd have to see is
That's good.
the connection point also, it's
Yeah.
good to see in person how the transition to the apartment would be configured. Yeah.
So,
I guess. Yeah.
anything further?
Due to the size, can you see it small?
Ask. Right?
The square footage variance is large.
Very large.
1,400. Well, it's, 38 by 32, I think it's a little over 1,200. With the loft, it adds, I think, 240. Just looking at what we have now and what we would like to have, that's the area that we would be happy with. To be able to fit everything that we have. And I think there's plenty of room to build. There's plenty of room to, it's not outside the property line. So our house kind of sits to the right of the property line. We're well within the property line.
Basically, I'm asking that the addition is large. It's a large variance. I'm looking for something, think about, Brian. He knows what I'm thinking about.
You're asking to make it smaller?
I would think about it. Just think, draw it.
It'd be good to have a backup plan.
Yeah. Because of what you're asking for. I understand what you're saying about fitting it in your life into that, but you have to understand what we have to do as a board.
Right. I do.
Is it over
Okay.
an acre?
That's all I'm asking.
How much is their property?
No, and then like the whole point that we were making about the one family. It's kind of hard when there's a little breezeway and a separation, it just makes it a little bit tougher.
Exactly 1 acre.
Bring it back to one family, I believe, but that's just my opinion.
One or two people are
Yeah.
making it.
So, anyway, we'll come out and take a look, okay? We'll come out
Okay.
on Saturday,
25th.
the 25th at 9 AM. Like I said, if you can just have that marked
I'll make
as
sure-
to how
We'll
it's
make sure
gonna,
it's marked for you.
and where the property line is that what we said? You want to see the side property line?
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
we
we
need a
need to.
variance for that, right?
We don't need a variance,
No, they're not necessary.
not necessary?
I think just the extents would be useful to see.
Yep, and then the sketch, right?
The sketch for how it would become a one-family.
How would just revert, how would go
Come
back?
back.
Yeah, what you would do with that,
Okay.
okay?
Did we set a public hearing?
And then we have to set a public hearing, so that would be on the 28th, right?
It's him and his wife.
At 7 o'clock here, back here,
28th of,
February,
Yeah,
Okay.
228.
2/28.
okay, we're gonna go visit my mother on the 28th. That's the Tuesday, right? Do I have
Yes.
to be here, Brian? Okay, so let's schedule it then. You guys will have come out already.
Yeah.
You're coming
Correct.
the Saturday before.
We're coming out on the 25th.
Okay, great.
If you wanted to be here, we could set it for a later
yeah,
date.
No,
I don't know what your
would.
timeframe is.
Brian, if you really don't need me here, maybe my son-in-law can come, so you can meet, meet
That'd be fine, too.
Brian has always presented himself very well.
Yes.
I don't think so. PGA off.
Okay.
Anything else?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, moving on, appeal for discussion, appeal number 237780, an area variance, Ketchumtown Land Development LLC, Dylan Aguado, Garth Bosman, and Kathleen Patrick, seeking an area variance, sections 24037, 24020-B of district regulations in an R40 zoning district. Where 50 feet wide flag lot access strip to street frontage is required, the applicant can provide a minimum of 36 feet for a proposed subdivision and lot line realignment, thus requesting a variance of 14 feet. Where 25 feet to the side yard property line is required, the applicant can provide 3 feet for a proposed subdivision and lot line realignment, thus requesting a variance of 22 feet. The property is located at Ketchumtown Road and 86 Ketchumtown Road, and identified as tax grid numbers 6157-03-070275, 34.4 acres, and 6157-03-150311, 2.00 acres in the town of Wappingers. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
And you are?
My name is Allison Krauser. I'm an associate with the law firm Cuddy and Fader. I'm covering for my colleague Jennifer Van Tile. I do want to say happy Valentine's Day. I'll try to make this quick so we can all get home to our loved
Thank you.
ones. We're before you tonight for a preliminary discussion of the requested area variance relief related to 2 parcels. That's 86 Ketchumtown Road and the southern parcel, which is currently unnumbered. Both of them have access onto Ketchumtown Road. I did share copies of a visual exhibit with B to give to all of you to just run through, get you a better idea of the properties involved and the existing improvements. On the first page, you'll see the Dutchess County Parcel Access Viewer that shows the much larger, approximately 35-acre Aguado parcel, that's the current owner, and then you'll see the Bosman parcel, which is approximately 2 acres. You'll also see on the second page, we show the existing improvements on the properties. That's the single-family residence currently resided in by the Bosmans, which Garth is here with us tonight to answer any questions you might have. You'll also see the existing garage, which is, very proximate to the existing residence. It is accessed by the garage. There is a gap in the fence between the 2 properties that allow them to access that garage. There is a pending application. We were referred over by the planning board for a 2-lot subdivision, and you'll see it demonstrated here on the southern Aguado parcel. So we have one demarcated in yellow, and then you have the second one demarcated in blue, and then you have the Bosman parcel here. Right here is where the lot line realignment would occur, and that would transfer the lands underlying that existing garage to the Bosmans. And so these applications are largely a result of the Aguado parcel being developed with a subdivision, but it's also a result of a prior recorded agreement between the prior owner of the Aguado parcel and the current owners of the Bosmans. That was a result of an adverse possession lawsuit just for the garage and the garage lands. It has been used by the owners of the Bosman property for decades, and it's almost been in existence for almost 100 years now. 30s, 40s was when it was originally put in place, so it's existed in the neighborhood for a very long time. So as a result of this application to subdivide and to do the lot line realignment, we need 2 area variances, and those are related to, 1, the required 50-foot width for the flag lot pole, and the other is for the side yard setback. So the non-conforming area on the 3rd page of that visual exhibit is marked green. So that's approximately 23 feet across the rear of the garage, and that will be the non-conforming part. The remainder of the flagpole, 95% is conforming. And so these side yard setbacks are 25 feet because you don't meet that. I think Barbara's 144 square feet for an accessory structure to qualify for the lesser side back. So here we're acting under the principal structure setback, which is 25 feet. The 3-foot setback is provided because the recorded agreement allows for the lands underlying the garage and the access to the garage, and then a 3-foot buffer around it. So that's where the lot line would be restructured, and that would be the setback that we would be able to provide here. But to any passerby, really, it's remaining the same. We're not proposing any changes to the garage. The Google Street View that you see in this visual exhibit, that's how it will remain.
This is a straight one.
Do we have that drawing? I don't see that.
I'm sorry?
Do we have that drawing there?
Yes,
It's
so
not what they gave us
it's
when we
the
came in.
third page. Do you have the visual exhibit?
Should be with, it'd be on the desk. Yeah, it's not in that document.
And our project engineer had drafted that for me this morning and gave me these boards just so it's easier for you to understand. We could obviously submit it in a supplemental if you'd like it for the record as well.
I found it, by the way, so you can have. Thank you. So before I interrupted you, John, you were saying something?
Yeah, probably lost my train of thought. Reading through all this, which I did last night, I had nothing better to do.
Well, I think it's very interesting.
They said that this has been like this for years, right?
Yes,
And
decades.
you said
this
close
is-
to 100 years? Is that
30s or 40s is when the garage was built, right?
30 to 40, okay. So the property at that point just, they just like, we'll just throw it over here, or? I mean, do we know that happened?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, come on up, please.
I'm Garth Bosman. How are you? Our understanding is that it was a farm. So the 34 acres, the house, and I think a couple of other parcels were all worked by the owners of the house. They worked the farm, and then at some point they parceled off the farm, or they were separate parcels and they were sold to independent owners. And so the garage, at the time that they built it, they owned all of the land and farmed it. That's why the garage is there on that separate piece.
So when they sold other properties, they just kind of maintained use of the garage, is that?
Right, so
And now they're
the
trying to
owners of
formalize that?
86 Ketchumtown Road, since it was sold, which, again, 40s, 50, I don't know when it was sold off, but there have been several owners of the house. They've all used the garage, as part of the residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
This looks very familiar.
We had a fence height variance for this property
Thank you.
years ago.
Had to read before us.
Tom was the only one on the board at that
I
point.
don't recall that one.
Not gonna call you out.
Showing your age?
In looking at the configuration of the lot, which is not atypical on a farm, typically,
Yeah, very unusual.
very frequently the parent will subdivide off the farmhouse and then give the rest of the farmland to a child or, another relative to farm. But if you look, what basically happened was, if you were gonna subdivide this property, that's the only access on Ketchumtown Road to the back. So that's, basically why this configuration came out that way, I would think. In looking at it, looks like if you look on parcel access, actually, you can't really see it, it gets cut off, but the property line on the front side here of the Bozeman parcel actually seems to extend across the road. So at one point it was, a much bigger parcel. There's a a triangle on the opposite side, which is actually Central Hudson, so. But, so the parcel was also probably broken up by power lines as well. So there's, quite a bit going on. I would suspect it was probably bigger before the power lines came along and took out some of that, so. Because that's the property, if you're looking at this sketch, to the south of the yellow is actually Central Hudson. So, in all likelihood,
Yeah, that could have been
that
part of
was
farmland.
part of the farmland before and that was, I don't know if that's Marcy or, I was probably taken in the.
Well, here's the power authority
So this
easement,
is
that's
all
why they
Central
can't put a
Hudson.
driveway on this
Right.
lot.
So the yellow property and the green property, those are both going to be basically developed separately, is that the notion here?
Yeah, so it's a two-lot subdivision, and Dylan Aguado, who's the owner of that property, has been handling that in front of the planning board with his engineer. It's a subdivision application.
Okay, so that driveway that kind of, crosses both sides, that's meaningless, that's going to be redone?
Well, so that doesn't exist currently, that is a proposed common driveway, so that's.
Okay, so it would be a common driveway for, okay. So they would have an easement or something to have access to that driveway? Okay.
And so there's a wetlands
Yes, wetland also.
intermediate. You can actually see,
Yeah, between those two thick dash lines, is that?
right.
Yeah.
So, so the development is on the rear of the property. If you look at,
Yeah.
if you look at this, oh, there we go.
Splits.
Yeah, okay. This video.
I knew there was picture of it.
Came prepared. Unlike Brian.
There you go.
Zoomed out version. What we were just focused in on was this area. This is a look of the entire parcel and the proposed development on lots 1 and 2. And this is the Boston parcel. And that's the garage.
Where is 36 feet. So this for us is this space, right, this distance,
This,
Yeah.
what required, what second one,
It's
that
that.
two. One is this,
because of this.
second one,
Setbacks
from the garage.
oh, setback from the garage.
New York State Power Authority. They have that property next door.
So we go there.
Rick, so it's,
driving one.
we're 50 feet for the flag lines required, they do 36, right? So that's, and then 25 feet for side property line.
From here to here?
No, there's no additional line in there.
Right.
It's this line.
Yeah, I don't think.
Right,
So-
because,
right.
the line's here.
Oh, but that's because of two property. So,
South property,
yes,
so
so.
frontage.
They have a permanent easement.
Driveway? This is, the driveway is here.
crosses over top.
Yes. So I don't know where the split line is.
I don't see anything about transfer,
Right. Right.
anything here about transferring anything. All I see is we need variance. But where are they?
Well,
So
one
what
is
is this?
definitely
This
this.
is this area.
They want to give them that piece of property
By helicopter.
right there. So maybe at that narrow, that's where it becomes the 36 feet.
So, yeah, that's.
So looking at this one, garage is here.
Right.
And the distance from this end to,
The driveway,
yes, driveway to the border line means this will be the line. So this
yes,
is
so there's 3 feet around the garage.
buffer
And then-
zone, yeah.
Okay, and then, what was the distance between the garage and
See, issue, I think. is
property
over
line
here.
and the driveway?
No,
Yeah,
just,
I think
just this distance. this distance, right? That's the,
From the back of the garage to the driveway?
right.
15 feet.
15 feet.
Okay.
And what is the new lot line? Because this is other variance, right, is this? I
That,
thought you said 23 feet, but I think it says 36 here, right?
So it's, so there's two
the
drive.
width of the back of the garage is,
There is one drive.
Okay.
but the
One drive is
distance
here,
from the lot
becoming one.
is
going,
36.
right?
So this is for this lot line to the
So
new
it's
lot
only
line is
because of the
36.
garage,
That's correct.
that property
Okay.
being cut out for the
Yep.
garage is where this variance comes in.
So,
Exactly.
under our code, we have a requirement that when you have a common driveway, you need a 50-foot wide flag. So they have a 50-foot wide flag all the way
Everywhere,
along,
except
except for
here.
right there.
Yeah.
And so, they got 50 feet on this side, they just can't.
So they have 36 feet there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the
Okay.
issue here is that they can put in the driveway. It just, with respect to the 50 feet, it's never gonna be used because it's one driveway.
Right.
Nobody's gonna put a second driveway in, and the reason is because of the wetland. The DEC is only gonna allow one wetland crossing. So,
Yeah, there's crossing.
in fact, I believe there was a letter did the DEC say, that they were gonna just allow the one driveway?
I don't really remember, to be honest.
So
I
with
don't
that
have
subdivision,
file
they
here.
both properties had to touch Ketchumtown? Is that what it is?
Yes,
Yes.
so under
With
280,
access.
under
Okay.
280, under town law 280A,
Okay.
in order to get a building
her name?
permit,
You have to.
you
Yeah.
have to have frontage on the highway,
Okay.
which they have. They have the
Thank
50
required
frontage.
Required frontage there.
Right, it looks
They
like
have
plenty of
the-
property.
The only, basically, the issue is there's this existing.
So we're just looking at 36 for this, and then the setbacks are on
So
the
Tom,
front. That's it, those two
Tom,
things.
you got it?
Yep.
You got your answer now?
No, I have the
Good.
first one. Where's the second one? 25 feet to the side yard property?
That's this.
That's around the garage.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, because
So-
the garage is only like 3 feet off that new line they're making?
So we're making a lot line realignment. The
Well, like to
setback
do the
requirement is
25 feet, it would
25
be-
feet, So
Yeah.
they work to minimize each other.
So there's like
And
a
then-
3-foot path around the garage, essentially.
3 foot is the walkway around the garage.
Yeah.
And then the other issue
Brings its
is,
fence out.
if the garage was slightly smaller,
Yes.
it would be a 10-foot setback instead of a 25.
Yes, right.
But it's still 3, so even
Yeah.
if it was smaller, it's still. So what happened was that, this, and,
You're a
you know,
Bozeman, sir? You're a Bozeman?
So this
I think you
was,
should just put a toll gate in.
this was a settled, and, as they mentioned, it was, adverse possession,
Just
restricted
kidding.
easement, or whatever it was, because the property was used for so long on the adjacent property. So that was, they worked out the agreement,
That's good.
and basically what the agreement said is, should this property be sold, the Bosens had a right to purchase this property. One of the things that the agreement didn't count on was a subdivision.
Right.
So,
I saw that in the paperwork, it was all in here.
so basically what
It's all in
happened
there, yeah.
was,
Thank
they
you.
didn't,
You did do it.
so, from
Allison,
looking at a variance point of
I'm
view,
just checking the numbers before the public hearing
Literally
notice
not
goes
gonna
out.
change
So here we've
anything.
got
because the garage is
25
gonna stay
side
at
yard,
exactly
3-foot
as it
side
is.
yard setback, that's
So
to the
before
shed,
we
a
change the
garage.
character of the neighborhood.
Yeah, so we have the lot line realignment will be 3 feet off.
With respect to
Right,
the
so what do you
3-foot
have left,
variance,
15 feet?
you're not,
Yes.
you're
No, because now
really
the
just
new
changing
lot line
lines on
is
a
this.
map.
So we're only giving
You're just
3
changing
feet
the tax
between the
map.
garage itself.
But in future, they can put
Back.
fence now.
I mean, we
We're not-
will,
I
we
wasn't
will
counting
extend
it
the
to
wooden
you, but-
fence.
Right, so just look at
Around
these, because somehow the
feet
numbers
around.
don't look the same.
So,
What happens when the garage is no longer feasible or usable?
they can erect another one,
Lot line comes down.
that's what the variance would.
Right, you carry on forever.
Probably just knock it down.
Yeah. So, well, actually, there was discussions about other locations.
All right, so that's the
But
22
problem is
feet. All right, I just want to
basically
make
because
sure.
of the wetlands
Yeah.
and the configuration of the Bozeman property, there's really not a whole lot
Right,
of.
so I just
we
wanted,
looked at
okay, so
some
you've checked it
options.
already. Yeah, that should go out this week.
Moving it or,
So I know
building it, because if you're placing it with another garage in a different
Simplest,
place.
yeah, simplest to be moving garage from here to here.
Do you use
Not
the
that.
garage that's up behind the house
Right.
right there?
We use that all the time.
Here,
yeah.
or that.
So there's the
Oh,
one,
no, this up over here, no, this is, and that's not a
Right,
garage.
so now it's a
Parking.
two-lot subdivision and lot line,
That's,
one lot,
it's a
so you
workshop.
So, yeah. And I mean,
When's
the,
that
the
for?
one thing
March
is
fifth.
that,
just
I
say.
think the photograph actually is pretty good because it shows you,
But it's out of wood
this is
floor.
basically
I have to look at the
across the
newspaper.
right across the
If
driveway
you're gonna
from
be
the
on March
front
sixth, it's gotta be
Yeah,
published
right,
at
right.
28.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is, you know, essentially,
Thank you.
right,
Yeah,
here,
right,
this
yeah.
is 3 feet off, that's
Always
3
nice to
feet
have somebody
off.
who
New driveway's coming around
Yeah,
here.
of course, yeah.
So moving this garage to here
So and then for
would be
this
all
one,
problems solved for
this
everyone.
has to go in the paper tomorrow
Like
for
moving
next,
this one to here, so
to be
close to the.
published
Well, then
next
you wouldn't be
week
able to get to the
for
back
the
of the house.
28th here. So
I
you
think
have
we
to
need to go
mail
out with
those
that.
out.
Yeah.
I think we need to get have it marked and
Otherwise,
go
with
out.
the post office, the way it is, you'll get them back.
Pictures aren't doing it.
Yeah,
She'll
Pictures aren't
send the
doing it.
public hearing notice to
go
the
out and
Southern
look at it.
Dutchess News
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I think that's where we're at.
Okay, well, let's schedule a date to go ahead and let's go.
Personally, I just need, yeah, I guess you give you two signs.
Okay, so
Yeah, so,
See what she has, but yeah, I don't see anybody else coming out of this. They will.
probably 9:30. So yes, we'll schedule a site visit for the 25th at 9:30. If there is a way to mark out these proposals that are on, you know, the lot line around the 25, across the property line, where that's gonna be, so we know where the back of the Quado property line is, and then, okay, so we can see all that. That'd be great, okay? It's just flags or markers or something like that, you know,
I mean, we're not looking at a variance for that.
okay, is that? Okay, so that will be,
It's just when we were looking at 2 of them.
on the 25th, it's a Saturday, we'll be there about 9:30 in the morning, because we have one prior to, before that, and then, we'll take it from there, right? And then we'll have a public hearing, thank you, on the 28th, which is the following Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And I think that's it, right? Do we need
that's
anything?
A motion to set the public hearing? Should there be a motion to set the public hearing? Or are you just,
We don't usually do a motion.
usually we
no,
don't.
yeah, we don't do motion, but.
Motion to set a public hearing, she's asking.
No, right, we'll set the public hearing for the
All right.
28th, 7 o'clock. When you come in, and then that's when we'll make the motion.
Second.
Well, there you go. Yeah. We made a motion for a public hearing.
perfect.
So we'll see you maybe Saturday? Great. And then whoever comes back the following Tuesday.
So I'll see you on the 28th. Thank you
Okay.
very much, everyone.
Thank
Happy
you very much.
Valentine's Day.
Thank you for your time. Happy Valentine's Day, yes. So, motion, without any other
business?
further business being before the board, I'll entertain a motion to
I make
adjourn.
motion to close the meeting.
What'd you say?
Motion to close today's meeting.
Adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Thank you, right.
All in favor?
Ah.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.